Okay, the next problem is a mixture problem. There are actually a couple ways you could do this. Let me do it the way that we've been doing it so far, which is just to write one unknown quantity in terms of another. So it says you have $10,000 to invest and you want to earn 9.5% return on your investment. Government bond that's insured pays 8% and an uninsured corporate bond pays 11%. How much should you invest in each? Well, a lot of people, their quick response would be, well, invest it all 11%. But the 11% amount is not necessarily 100% safe like this certificate of deposit is. So if your goal is to get a certain amount of money total or a certain percentage total, you don't want to invest any more at the unsafe amount than you have to. So let's see what we're going to do here. We don't know how much to invest at each, so let's say let X equal the amount that I invest, amount invested at 8%, because that's what we need to know. Now, if I invest X of my dollars at 8%, I also have to invest a certain amount at 11%, and I want to define a variable for that. So I have $10,000 total, and X of that was invested at 8%, so it's gone. So $10,000 take away X, and that's how much I have left to invest at the higher but unsafe amount or less safe amount. So amount invested at 11%. Okay? Now we can write an equation that tells us the total amount of money we earn. Remember that your earnings are going to be your interest, or your interest earned, I should say, is going to be the amount you invest times the rate you invested at. So the amount I invest at 8% is X, and the rate is 0.08 as a decimal. So this is my interest at 8%. It's not the total money that I earn. It's not the total money that I have. It's just the total interest that I earn. Plus, well, I know that I'm also going to invest some at 11%, so that's going to be 0.11. And the amount there is a little more complicated. It's 10,000 minus X. And that's the amount of interest that I earn at 11%. The total interest that I want to earn is 9.5%, so 0.95, or 0.095, I should say. Boo-boo there. And the total interest that I earn is 0.095 of what? Well, I'm expressing it as a percentage of what I started with. I want to earn 9.5% of what I started with. So this is my equation. Then I can multiply through and solve. So I get 0.08x. And then here I have plus 10,000 times that. I move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4 places. I get 1,100 minus 0.11x equals, here move the decimal point 4 places again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we multiply. We get that. Okay, now I'm going to combine the x values. So 0.08 minus 0.11 is going to give me negative 0.03x. Now, you're probably panicking a little bit because you have a negative number, but we're not quite done with the problem yet, so don't you panic about that. It's going to be okay. All right? Now I'm going to move this 1,100 over to the other side. So I get 0.03x equals, well, 950 minus 1,100 is negative 150. So I have a negative there and a negative there. That is actually a good thing. Divide by 0.03. And when I do that, 150 divided by 0.03, I get 5,000. So x equals 5,000. That's the amount that I invest at 8%. The amount at 11% is going to be 10,000 minus that. So 10,000 minus 5,000, I also will invest 5,000 at 11%. So now that may not always be true, but for this particular problem, it looks like we were supposed to give an equal amount to each investment. And that's not always going to be true. Let's talk about whether our answer makes sense. I didn't do that on the other ones, and I should have. They did make sense. I think if if you're solving for pay and you see the pay was $6.25, I suppose if you're old like me, you can probably remember the days when everybody made $6.25. But let's look at this problem, see if this one makes sense. Well, I have one investment. Here's how I'm going to kind of get an idea of whether I'm on the right track. I have one investment over here at 8%, and I have another investment at 11%. The total amount that I want to earn effectively is 9.5%. Now, if you look at that, 9.5% is exactly between 8 and 11. So it makes sense that we divide the amounts we invest exactly between the 8 and the 11. We invest half at one and half at the other to make my final result equal 9.5. Now, let's say that I wanted my final result to be 8.5. So in that case, I would invest more money at 8% and less money at 11%. If I wanted my final amount to be, let's say, 10.5, then I would be investing more money at 11% to kind of pull my final amount up. So I think you can see now that's kind of how we can tell whether our answer makes sense, and it does kind of seem reasonable.